systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Ship It Nation YouTube station? Back with my guy Gyiraszin on this 12-game Tuesday. And man, oh man, what a fun-looking slate we got here. Pitching is horrendous. Offense is really good. We'll do the best to break it down here. We got a win game in Wrigley. We got the A's and the Pirates in that Great American, or that little Cracker Jack Park out there. We also have Great American Ballpark on here, with Kodai Senga making a return from the IL, who he can get wild at times. Reds nuked the slate last night. Overall, should be a pretty fun slate. We got the Dodgers and the Yankees on this slate as well. The Braves getting Drake Baldwin back. Lots of things to talk about here, Gyiraszin, on this 12-game slate. And have to think our pitching breakdown is going to go pretty quickly because it's we were talking pre-show. It's pretty disgusting in general, as the Cliff Note summary of the slate at hand. Broad slate overview, offense is going to win the slate, in my opinion. However, every time we say that, it's usually we see a bunch of these pitchers who look disgusting, post-ceiling performances. So who knows? Time will tell. But I think we got a pretty decent one overall here to break down tonight. I'll bring you in, man. Happy Tuesday. What's going on, brother?
Tuesdays are always fun, my friend Nate. I mean, Tuesdays usually the better baseball tournaments throughout the week. You know, we get a full slate. We got a big 444 monster over there on FanDuel, the 100K up on top, which is always fun chasing that. But yeah, I mean, we got a pretty decent slate. I mean, you mentioned you got Baldwin coming back. I think Kyle Riley's coming back too for the Mariners. So we got two big thumpers, so to speak. But you know, so we got a couple guys coming back. I mean, yesterday, Nades, I mean, yeah, the Reds, you know, tore some ass up. But how about the Tigers scoring 9 runs and striking out 18 times? 18 fucking strikeouts, and they scored 9 runs. That means only 9 outs they got were actually hit. Like, dude, like that, I heard it was a major league record. Like, that's the thing I like about baseball. There's always something new. Nades, it seems to pop up, you know, but I thought that like 18 times they struck out, like, holy shit. Like, that's crazy to me. But yeah, I mean, we got some decent baseball. We're almost halfway through, man. I was looking, I'm like, damn, we're in the mid 70s for most of these teams throughout MLB as far as games played. So it's like, damn, man, time flies while we're having fun. But yeah, getting to that time of year, weather, I know it's been hot as balls up here in Michigan, you know, and then it rains, it kind of cools off, and then it gets steamy hot. But, yeah, I mean, hey, fun time of the year. I love it. A good time. We got the World Cup going on. Seems to be going pretty well, except yesterday we had a bunch of ties. But, yeah, I'm enjoying it. Great time of year to be a sports fan. That is for sure.
Yeah, and NHL, Stanley Cup finished up. NBA finished up. Knicks and the Canes won there. But we got World Cup for about the next, I don't know, what?
5 weeks, I think.
Month or so. Yeah, July 18th, something, or 16th, something around there is the final. And France, one of the favorites, is playing right now, and they're on the ropes here against Senegal. Senegal, obviously one of the better teams, beat France a couple years back. Actually, what, 20 years ago or so, right? 24 years, 2002, I think, right? They whooped up on France, the returning world champs, and they had some damn good looks. I got the World Cup going up on the other screen. Always fun to watch there. I'm not a huge soccer junkie by any means, but I'll throw some World Cup on. We love sports, Gyiraszin, and World Cup's fun to watch when all the countries face off against each other, and it's pretty crazy to see some of these countries have enough high caliber athletes to field the soccer team to throw out there and compete in this. When you look at some of the countries,
that's all they do, though, Nate.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I mean, it's
the U.S. soccer team. If we had, like, you know, all our athletes, like, all the way across, like LeBron James playing freaking forward, coming in on a header, that's cheating, dude.
Yeah, no, should be fun. But yeah, we got 12 games to talk about. Let's go ahead and bring our Slate station up over at shipitnation.com. Let me go ahead and make this a little bigger here so it's easier to read. We'll zoom it in there. How's that? That look pretty good there. How's that? That looks even better. All right, perfect. So Gyiraszin, 8K and above. I'll call this the upper tier in air quotes. Overall, pitching's pretty weak on the slate. There's 3 headliners in terms of ownership. Logan Gilbert, Hunter Brown up at the top. Probably your cash game pairing or your cash game staple is definitely going to be Logan Gilbert. And then it's probably either pair him up with Hunter Brown if you have the salary, or drop down to the lower tier, a guy we're going to talk about a little bit later just due to the salary and the matchup there. And the injuries there for Robert Gasser, who we'll definitely talk about. But in this top tier, you got Hunter Brown coming back, 3rd start, started twice in the early part of the year, then got injured, went on a big IL stint. Now he's back to face your Tigers here. Gyiraszin, he's facing your Tigers, who just got absolutely shellacked for a while by Tang, who's much worse caliber pitcher than Hunter Brown. He's going to get ownership. Hunter Brown coming back probably around that 85 pitch mark. I know SaberSim is projecting Hunter Brown for 100 pitches. There's just no way. He got to 74 in his rehab start. Now he's going to go, I would assume, 80 to 85 pitches if he's pitching well, but it's not like that super short leash there, Gyiraszin. That's roughly you're looking at about a inning that he's losing out on. And who knows? Maybe they do let him if he's rolling 10K. Pretty reasonable price point for him. Garrett Cole, who hasn't looked like himself since he come back from injury, 9,500 is an expensive price point to pay there. And the White Sox do have Colson Montgomery back. Obviously, they're still without Murakami. White Sox been pretty good against right-hand pitching. Garrett Cole's given up, 6 earned runs in 9 innings or something like that, 3 earned runs in 9 innings. Gilbert looks like the best SP option on the slate for me from a safety standpoint. Obviously, pitching at home. We love these Mariners pitchers when they are at home, in that ballpark. Davis Martin's been really good, gets the Yankees, so that's a tough matchup there. Reed Detmers has been really, really good. He's projected for super low ownership, and we were on how many slates, Gyiraszin, where we were talking about Reed Detmers chalk. Now he's priced up at 8,700, sandwiched between a guy like Drew Rasmussen, Michael King, Cabrera. Overall, I think there's a lot of arms up here you can play. They all feel pretty shaky and gross, so I'm more willing to kind of go into some of the lower owned option on a slate like this where it does feel gross. Outside of Logan Gilbert, he is clearly my SP1 on the slate. But go ahead and break down this 8K and above tier.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not one that you look at and you just feel, confident about just right out the get. You're just like, nobody's really got that overwhelmingly strikeout matchup and strikeout percentage that we seem to be generally concerned about. So, yeah, I mean, sitting here looking at a 20-game pitcher slate, and, some of the names we're looking at, it's just like, man, it just seems to be odd. Like, it's just like fantasy world somewhere. I guess we are playing a fantasy game, but either way, I mean, moving up, Zebby Matthews, I just can't do it. I mean, we'll start at 8K. I'll move up. I'm not looking at Matthews. I'm not looking at Wroblewski. Cabrera, I think maybe I'd leave him in my pool. He's going to be he's definitely a favorite. We know that. I mean, he's definitely going to be a favorite against the Rockies. So, I mean, at 8,500, I don't necessarily hate it. He had a decent start last time, had 5 Ks, 83 pitches, 5 innings. I think that's, decent for Cabrera against a shitty Rockies team. So, and they're outside of cores, not in great hitting conditions. So, I think I'd leave Cabrera in my pool. I just don't have them all ranked up, like even in my top 5, but I'd leave him in. I think there's a handful of pitchers you could think about today. I hate to say it, but with King, I don't even want to mess with the Cardinals right now. Like the Cardinals seem like, they've been hitting pretty well overall as a team. I'm just not really all that enamored with King at that price. Now, Detmers, as you said, I think he's somebody, started out the season a little slow, has had a couple decent starts here recent times. I think I saw in his last few starts, he's got like 50 Ks in his last 4 starts, I think it is, something like that. He's been pretty damn good. Yeah, 9, 6, 7, and 14. Maybe his 6 starts, but he hasn't been walking anybody either. So I think that's definitely something with Detmers in play. Arizona doesn't have like the best strikeout, lineup that we, generally want to attack. But Arizona just hasn't been very good here in recent times. You look at the hitters they have as far as strikeouts. I mean, their top strikeout bat is Moreno at 20%. I mean, Lawler's in there. He's at 25. Everybody else is in the mid-teens. So, I mean, Detmers definitely has a tougher strikeout matchup against an Arizona team. But I'd still leave Reed Detmers. I kind of like him, especially we were talking a little bit, between the two sites before the show came on. At 8,700, I think Rasmussen's going to get some ownership here today against the Dodger team. I'm not really a fan of that, to be honest. I don't want to fool with the Dodgers. I think there's other spots. You can go at Rasmussen. I just don't trust Tampa Bay, man. Like, they protect their asset there. Like, he could be rolling along and all of a sudden they'll yank him out a little early where he doesn't get that quality start. I'm primarily playing on FanDuel, so I want a quality start here tonight for sure. I think Martin's really interesting, Nades. I mean, I think that's probably one of the best strikeout arms on the slate. I mean, we're looking at a Yankee lineup without Judge, obviously. You're not going to even have Grisham here tonight. So I think there's something to be said here for Martin here against, he's got a 23% K percentage against the left side. He's at 27% against the right side. I mean, the bottom of this Yankee lineup's got some Ks in it. Chisholm's at 26%. I don't know about Jones. He'll be in there. McMahon's 30%. Xcara's at the bottom. We got Ben Rice at about 21, 22%. We got Goldschmidt 20%. So I think there's some Ks to be had for Martin here. Martin's been pretty good so far this year. He does get barreled up a little bit more against the left side. But for me, I think Martin is a great definition of a tournament play. I think he's definitely would be somebody that I'd look at. I think people are going to be scared off. They're going to see that Yankee emblem next to him, and they're not going to be happy. Gilbert, like you said, I think is pretty good at home. Generally, I kind of like Gilbert's skill set. His strikeout percentage isn't all that high. He did just face a Baltimore team last time in Baltimore and more hitter-friendly confines. He did have 5 Ks. He went 6 innings, only gave up 3 hits. So, that's one of the things that get debated. Do you like to have a pitcher the second time in a row against the team? Some people don't necessarily like it. I don't really have too much weight into it, to be honest with you, Nades. I don't think that really has all that much weight. Maybe the changing of the park I'd be a little bit more concerned about than the actual back-to-back matchup. I don't think for me that I'm really too concerned about that. Cole, like you said, hasn't all looked that good, to be honest with you. I think the White Sox, for me, probably better bats that I'd rather play some White Sox against this Yankee team in Cole. And Hunter Brown, for me, kind of does stand out, Nades. This kid grew up in Detroit. He's getting to face his hometown team. He's in Houston. It's going to be jacked up. You got you got Alvarez coming back here to Houston tonight. It's going to be talked about. I think both of these guys are going to battle it out here tonight. The Tigers struck out 18 times yesterday. They have been just striking out at an alarming rate here in recent times. So, man, I got Hunter Brown up on the top for me. Especially playing more tournament type style. And then I think I'd actually go to Davis Martin too. And then I'd probably go to Gilbert. I think Gilbert is the safest play, but I think as far as upside, I'd have those two a little bit higher than I have Gilbert. I think Detmers is in play also. I think Rasmussen play. There's of this 8K range, Nades, I think I'd leave in Cabrera, Rasmussen, Detmers, Martin, Gilbert. I think I'd scratch out Cole and Brown. There's a handful of dudes I think that we could play tonight. I just don't think any of them have that huge ceiling upside here tonight. I do think, though, like you said, I do like Gilbert. If I was playing a cash game, Gilbert would probably be my pitcher. But, I need a little bit of upside and some runs, some strikeouts tonight. Just being how bad the Tigers have been, I think Brown's in a good spot. And I like the upside of Martin with them Ks, especially with the back half of that Yankee lineup.
Yeah, no, I like a lot of what you said there. For me, the top tier is Gilbert, number 1. And then I'm going to go Hunter Brown, 2. I will go Davis Martin, 3. I like Davis Martin as a tournament play. And then I like some of those other guys that I talked about. I think in that mid-range, I think Detmers is a really interesting play. I know the D-backs did get Lourdes Gurriel back, who's a lefty masher there. D-backs are top 6 in OPS against left-handed pitching. I get that overall, but you also look at the strikeouts here. it's not the best strikeout matchup. D-backs, 33 strikeouts over the last month against left-handed pitching there. I think Detmers is a good pitcher. He's going to be unowned on a slate where people are playing guys like Hunter Brown at 10K is the highest priced pitcher on the slate when he's probably limited to around 85 pitches, right? So I think he's definitely in play. Michael King, I think you could keep in your pool as well. Don't really love targeting. The Cardinals are top 6 in baseball in kind of all of the hitting metrics over the last 2 weeks. They've been red hot at the plate, but Michael King does have pretty incredible stuff overall. It's a fairly decent pitcher's ballpark as well out there at Busch Stadium. But really, I think if you wanted to focus in, Gilbert, Brown, and Davis Martin, I think are 3 main guys there. Den Detmers, Michael King. If you want to mess with Cabrera and Rasmussen, I think those guys are definitely playable as well. I wouldn't fault anyone. I'd rather play Drew Rasmussen against the Dodgers than I would Cabrera against the Rockies, just because there is really good hitting weather in Chicago here tonight, blowing straight out to kind of the right field, so more lefty power. And the Rockies do have a lot of power coming from the left side, and then obviously Hunter Goodman there. So with the weather there, I do have Cabrera definitely down my list. I probably don't get too much of him because he is the one guy also that is, of any of these guys in this kind of 8K range getting ownership, Cabrera is the only one getting ownership really, because everybody streamlines pitcher, especially right-handers, against this Rockies lineup there. So for me, don't love him. It's really Detmers, Rasmussen, Martin, Gilbert, and Hunter Brown. I'm taking a wait and see. I'm not playing Garrett Cole either. I just don't like what I've seen. He's 9,500. If I'm spending up there, I'd rather just play Gilbert or find the extra $500 to get up to Hunter Brown at similar ownership there. So that's kind of how I see the top tier range, not messing with Robleski, Zabi, none of those guys. The lower tier here, Gyiraszin, let's go 8K and below. The standouts below 8K is going to be Robert Gasser all the way down there at the bottom at $5,500. Not a great pitcher by any means, but you look at the props, 4.5K prop, -160 on the over. This Cleveland lineup is much weaker now, especially without J-Ram in that lineup. They have some other injuries as well. This back half of this lineup is just absolutely atrocious. This team strikes out a ton against left-handed pitching. He's not a great lefty by any means, but you're talking David Fry, Hoskins, Bazana, Fairchild, Arias. All of these guys are 30% or higher K rates against a guy who is $5,500, where Nick Kurtz is $800 more than him, almost $1,000 more than a starting pitcher at 5.5K when we want to spend up for offense and pitching's weak on this slate. So for me, I know Gasser's going to get ownership. I really don't care. He's $5,500. If he goes out there and gets you 10, it doesn't kill you. Now, if one of these other guys up at the top, like a Garrett Cole, a Hunter Brown, a Martin, Detmers, Rasmussen, any of these guys, Gilbert even for that matter, do have downside. If those guys get you 10 at 9K, 8K, 10K, makes a much different decision point. So for me, I'm in on Robert Gasser down at the bottom, 5,500, just because he's a stretched out starting pitcher at $5,500 on a slate where pitching's weak, right? So I think he's interesting. Outside of that, I mean, I don't really love. I mean, if you wanted to take a shot on Palante, I think Palante is a little overpriced, but he does get this matchup against the Padres. He is a ground ball guy. The Padres like to hit a bunch of ground balls, especially Fernando Tatis. So I think he's interesting. I don't love his upside, but on this slate, I think he's definitely at least in the conversation. Framber Valdez as the old revenge season coming back to Houston against the Astros there. I think Framber could be playable, but all these guys are pretty gross to me, Gyiraszin. So that's kind of why I just rather drop all the way down to Robert Gasser and pair Robert Gasser with one of those guys up at the top is kind of how I'm seeing Hunter Brown, Logan Gilbert, Davis Martin, kind of that pairing. Some sort of combination of those 4 pitchers is kind of how I see it. But what do you see below 8K here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys that I'm kind of interested in playing. Palante, as you mentioned, I think is the guy I'm interested in. I mean, on FanDuel, he's 8,700. I think that's a pretty good price point for him because you could go down to 81 for Cabrera. And Palante, I think, is in a good spot compared to some of these other guys at the top. I mean, you mentioned his ground ball ability. he's got a decent ground ball lean, 54% to the left. He's 50% to the right. Now you look at the ground ball percentages of these Padres. I mean, it's alarming. Tatis is almost at 52%. You got Machado 46, Bogart 51, Ty France is at almost 50, and a couple other of these guys are in the high 30s, 37%, 38%. So I always say it. What are you going to get when you got a ground ball pitcher pitching to a team? It's a bunch of ground balls. You're probably going to get a bunch of ground balls. So I think Palante is in play for me to eat up some innings on a slate. I'm really not that necessarily concerned on getting overwhelmed by strikeouts tonight. So I think Palante for me is somebody that I'd be willing to take a shot on. Moving down the list, Kelly against the Angels. I guess any righty against these Angels who do strike out a bunch against a righty, I think is in play. I mean, Kelly just hasn't been all that good in recent times. Been giving up some earned runs. He got beat up I think he's given up 9 earned runs his last couple games. So, but I just think because it's the matchup against the Angels, I'd consider leaving him in play. Valdez now against Houston, I think it's interesting. He's 74 on FanDuel. I kind of like that play, but for me, man, Framber's like flipping a coin. Like, is he here upstairs? Like the dude seems to be thrown off so easy with stuff. Like the last start when he went out, I think it was like 23% owned in the $100 single entry thing I was on FanDuel. And the dude goes out, rain game, throws one in, he comes back, and literally you could see it on the mound. He acted like a goddamn baby the whole time. Walk like 3 dudes, hit like 4 dudes. Like, dude, like you're a Major League Baseball pitcher. Quit acting like a bitch. But anyway, I had to say it. He's on my own team, so he pisses me off sometimes, that guy. No wonder Houston got rid of his ass. But again, I always say it, man. These guys go back to their hometowns they've been to. He's got a lot of stuff to do, man. He's got loose ends to clean up. He's got some stuff going on. He might have a little side piece there in Houston you don't know about, Nades. I'm always concerned when dudes go back to their hometown. They got to get some tickets for their family and some people that are probably left behind. So I'm a little concerned about Framber, but at his price, I do definitely think he's in play. I know you mentioned Gasser. We were talking a little bit before. I let everybody else play Gasser. I'm out on Gasser. I can't do that, man. That dude hasn't even shown me anything yet. I mean, he's got like 3 starts under 7 points, I think, on DK so far this year. I think we can find some other options down there that I'd rather play. I get he's 5,500, but man, I don't know. I'd just rather sacrifice and go up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of some thin pickings down below, man. I mean, it's definitely going to be a hitting offense, type night when we get there, get through some of these offenses as we roll through. But man, I'd be willing to take chances on, guys like I already mentioned, Cabrera, Valdez. I think I'd take a chance on Kelly too. It's just some thin pickings down there. But I think for me, Palante is the guy I think I would kind of rely on, just because San Diego's not been good. They got a bunch of guys that's pounded in the dirt. And I could see Palante getting me a quality start over there on FanDuel and maybe rolling me 5-6 Ks. If it gives up a run or two, so be it. But yeah, I think that's the play that I like, that I think is kind of rolling a little bit under the radar. He's a little high price, but that's okay. I think I'd be willing to play I'm willing to play the little bit of premium because I think he's just been decent too in his last few starts. So for me, I think that's the guy that I like. And I'm going to go back to up at the top, Nades, with Davis Martin. I think the more I talk about it and more I think about it as we go through, I think I like Davis Martin a little bit more than probably most do. I think that's a pretty good play against the Yankees, especially a tournament type play.
Yeah, no, I definitely like Palante. I like Gasser a lot more than you because I mainly play on DraftKings. I know you're probably you're basically predominantly FanDuel, where I don't think Gasser's a great play over there, but 5,500 on DraftKings, I definitely like him a ton. Valdez, Palante are kind of the main guys I'm looking. I don't know. I'm out on Merrill Kelly. I'll let you play him. The dude's been horrendous, and the props would suggest that. I mean, how many times do you see a right-handed pitcher against the Angels projected with juice on the under of 4.5K prop? Not too often. That just shows you how bad Merrill Kelly has been. I think if you wanted to, you could definitely include him, but I'm more spread out on offense. So I'm looking for more of a condensed pitcher pool. And that's kind of headlined by Gasser, Palante, and then Hunter Brown, Gilbert, Davis Martin, Rasmussen are kind of the main guys I'm looking at there. Detmers, I think, is a nice low-owned guy to put in there that has upside. Is kind of my distant sleeper there in tournaments. That's kind of my synopsis of pitching there. Pretty weak in general. You're going to feel like it's very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for everyone. That's why I'm okay paying $7,800 for a guy like Palante. I think on the slate against San Diego at home here. I'll take a shot on that when I don't think there's going to be massive scores from the pitchers there. And that's also why I have interest in a $500 gasser like many of the people do tonight in tournaments there. Let's jump over here, Gyiraszin. I'm going to go ahead and lower this down a little bit, and we're going to go and start talking offense here. These 640 games are not on the main slate, so let's go scroll down to Yankee Stadium. I'll give you the rundown in weather and then throw it over to you. About 70 degrees here in Yankee Stadium, wind blowing from right to left, maybe out to that left foul pole a little bit at about 10 to 12 miles an hour. So maybe a slight boost to some home runs there. Yankees, pretty watered down lineup here. Obviously no Grisham, no Judge in there. You got Spencer Jones, who is a walking home run or strikeout, which is a nice guy in there, even for Davis Martin. He's hitting in the heart of that lineup there. I think the White Sox side is more interesting just because I think Garrett Cole gets played on the slate at 9,500 because of how weak the pitching slate is. And in the name recognition alone from a guy like Garrett Cole, he just hasn't looked right to me since he was off for a long time, right? Huge extended, didn't pitch last year, came back this year. His strikeouts are below league average. He's given up power to both sides. He's given up fly balls to both sides. Braden Montgomery has been really good. Colson Montgomery's been a stud. You got a cheap catcher who's been really good against righties in Drew Romo. Miguel Vargas has been one of the best hitters in baseball. I think he's interesting. Benintendi. You got Tristan Peters, who's dirt cheap, and he's shown some upside at 2,500. So you got really cheap guys in this lineup. You don't love picking out Garrett Cole and the Yankees bullpen, but I think you could leave some of these guys, especially in the larger field tournament stuff. Colson Montgomery, Braden Montgomery, my two favorite guys, Benintendi, and then Gonzalez, Peters, and Romo are all value plays at the back half with the platoon advantage there. So talk to me in this one.
Yeah, just like we were mentioning in pitching, I think the White Sox are a good under-the-radar type lone type team against Cole. I mean, Cole struggled his last time out against the Indians. He faced the Indians twice in a row his last two starts. He gave up 3 homers the first time out, and then he kind of settled back down, but he's not striking anybody out. His ground ball percentages are pretty low. His fly ball percentage is up, like you're saying. He's been getting barreled up, actually, too, against by some righties. As you mentioned, Vargas been hitting the ball pretty well. So they're definitely in play, like a value type stack. As far as any Yankees go against Martin, I mean, I prefer Martin over these Yankees lineups, but I mean, he does give up some hard hits to the left side. So even though the WOBA ain't all that high, it's like 248. I mean, he's more of a ground ball kind of strikeout kind of guy. But I mean, I guess any of these lefties could be in play if you wanted to maybe look for a one-off, but I respect Davis Martin enough. I think he's been pretty good this year. I mean, he's the guy that my gut is telling me that is probably going to lead all the pitching tonight. But yeah, I think he's just a great pivot off, the Browns and everybody else. But yeah, for me, I'm rolling. I'm not going to leave the Yankees alone.
Yeah, I agree. Ben Rice, Bellinger would be the two guys. Jazz at a weak second base position too. Kind of those 3 guys. Outside of that, don't really want to go crazy with this game. Really on both sides, probably the right answer, but I do have a little bit of interest in the White Sox. They've just been really good all year against right-handed pitching. And Garrett Cole, since the extended time off, right, with the injuries, coming back just kind of looks to a pitch to contact type guy. He doesn't really have his K stuff. I don't know if it's going to come back. It hasn't been there so far, from what we have seen. And White Sox been good versus right-handed pitching, so I don't hate that. Takes us to the next game here, one of the best games for offense on the slate. We love playing offense in Great American Small Park here. From a hitting perspective, it is going to be mid 70s. Some slight wind blowing out to start the game here, kind of shifting mid to late game. Doesn't really matter too much. Kodai Senga returning. He can be wild at times, does have strikeout ability, but his nemesis is his control a lot of times. Brady Singer is just pitch to contact, doesn't get swing and misses. This is a battle of two shit teams. Or a shit pitcher versus a shit offense. What one's going to win here, Gyiraszin? Mets going to be probably the highest owned stack at the end of the day, at least projected ownership would say. I don't know. I like the red side a lot more against Senga, but talk to me in this one, Reds and the Mets.
Man, these are one of these situations in DFS that I just love every time it comes up. The worst damn hitting team, just because they get a guy rolling a red playground ball up there to him like a kickball pitcher, doesn't mean they still can hit it. I mean, the Mets suck, man. They can't hit their way out of a bag, like paper bag. I say it every week. But, I mean, they are just terrible, man. So, for me, I'll let everybody else play the Mets. I don't want nothing to do with it. But I will say, if they can't get the job done today, or at least at least put up some kind of decent showing, man, we're just gonna forget about the Mets the rest of the year because they just suck balls anyway. So it's like, why even bother? And if the rest of the donkey group want to go play them, as our man, big guy in the sky used to say, you can play that donkey chalk all you want to, because I sure the hell ain't playing Mets ever. So either way, up at this point in time, unless they get their head out of their ass. Now, we can go to the other side of this game, and I really like the Reds on this side. Kodai Senga, as you mentioned, can't get the ball over the plate. He's walking 16% of lefty so far this year, almost 10, a little over 10%. His ISOs are high. His WOBA's 461 to the left side. I mean, he's been getting barreled up even by righties at almost 14%. We love the park. The weather's good. Everything is decent. So for me, the Reds are definitely in play here tonight. JJ Bleday. I mean, where'd this dude come from? I mean, Oakland A's, what did you lose, man? You lost something pretty good. Looks like the Reds figured something out with old JJ Bleday. I'm sure they were wishing he was back where he came from, but Bleday's been good. Stewart's been good. Eugenio with 2 homers the other day and a grand slam. So, I mean, Reds for me are definitely one of my top favorite stacks. And like I said, I know the Mets may be grading out. If I was doing the slate plan, I'd be like, no, I do not like the Mets. I don't care if they grade high or what. I'd say forget it. Let everybody else play them nades. I'm out. Forget it. No way. No thank you. But Reds for me, definitely one of my top favorite stacks.
Yeah, I love the red side of this game just because not only are they lower owned, but I like targeting a starting pitcher who can get himself into trouble in a good hitting environment, right? So I do like that. I will say the Mets bullpen is good and it is pretty rested. Obviously, David Peterson went bulk yesterday. Austin Warren, their other bulk guy, is going to be unavailable, but all of their other arms are available there. So there is some downside risk to the Reds there, but I do think Senga can get himself, and he gives up power to both sides of the plate. He obviously strikes out a lot more righties, but if the right-hander they can still get a hold of one, and it can go a long ways in this ballpark there. So I think the Reds are super interesting. I have a little bit more interest in the Mets just because I think Carson Bench, Juan Soto, Jared Young, those 3 guys up at the top, I think are really interesting. They're going to be owned, but AJ Ewing as well. Ewing, I don't think he's the worst play because he's also got speed. Brady Singer's just horrendous. I know this Mets offense is horrendous. They are going to be owned, but I like some lower owned pitchers, especially in like a Davis Martin team when most people are playing the Mets with a guy like Hunter Brown or Logan Gilbert. Maybe you play Davis Martin in the Mets and play a different SP2 option like a Plante or something like that. And then it doesn't matter what you do from an offensive standpoint. But yeah, I love the red side of this one. One of my top stacks on the slate. Next game on the docket here, we're back in Atlanta, Braves and the Giants. I believe there is risk in this one from a weather standpoint. Yes. So Roth has it tagged as orange, so you definitely have to monitor it as we head into lock. He thinks a delay is likely and a PPD is possible there. So definitely some risk with some storms there in the Atlanta region. Adrian Hauser, not a good arm by any means. Braves would be on paper one of the best offenses to target here tonight, especially with Drake Baldwin coming back. Just makes this lineup so much better, even without Ronald Acuna in there. Drake Baldwin, Harris has been really good. Olsen's a great hitter. Ozzie Albies is solid. Dom Smith has power. He's cheap. Dubon's been really, really good this year. I don't know. I think the Braves on paper look really nice here. You do have to worry about the weather, and there's 11 other games on the slate with other good offensive spots like the Sacramento game. We just talked about a really good spot in the Great American. I don't know if it's worth the risk on a 12-game slate, but talk to me here. What do you see, Braves and the Giants?
Yeah, I normally when we got a weather game like that, I always look to see how many times are they coming in back into town? Like blah, blah, blah. I seem like they're more quick to pull the plug when they, not coming back. Now, San Francisco going all the way across to Atlanta. I think probably this is about the only time they play, but they do got 2 games coming up at night. So they could easily squeeze in a daytime doubleheader here in these next 2 days, Nate. So, yeah, I think a PPD could definitely be on the table. But, I mean, if we do get some play, you mentioned Baldwin coming back. I like all the lefties here in this one against Hauser. Hauser not very good against lefties. Got a 431 WOBA. It's getting hard hit, barreled up at 11.5%. So walk percentage is pretty high. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely would like – it's the top of these Braves lineup, but I think we're going to have more worries than we need to there with the weather. It's not really looking good, if you ask me. But I do like the lefties of the Braves.
Yeah, I would say if you're going to play it, go in on it. Play a 5-man stack or nothing on the Braves side of it. I'm not playing either one of these starting pitchers either way. Definitely not Hauser, but Grant Holmes, same thing. So if you're playing this game, I would say 5 stack or nothing for the Braves. The Giants also have the worst bullpen in baseball, so you have that going for you too. And if they jump on Hauser, it could get ugly very quickly if this game does play. So I'm going to have a couple full 5-man Brave stacks in tournaments just because I'll take on the risk in a portfolio there. But single entry 3-max stuff, I'd probably stay away from this unless we get more clarity leading up to lock. And we should at least have some sort of an idea, as this is one of the earlier games on the slate. But yeah, Braves lefties look really good. Don't even worried about the righties too much against Hauser and that bullpen behind. Next spot on the slate, Guardians, Brewers. Robert Gasser are going to be one of the highest owned pitchers on the slate. So if you wanted to use the L word in terms of leverage, you could do that. I don't love it. I hate this Guardians team, especially without J-Ram. They're missing some of their other guys. DeLauder probably is not going to be in there either. You don't like this team against lefties. You like them against righties because they throw out 9 left-handed hitters. Anytime they face a left-handed starting pitcher, it doesn't matter who they are. They throw in a bunch of splits, platoon guys like a David Fry, a Fairchild, a Rios. I don't like the spot. I'm not really messing with it. If you just don't want to, just don't play Robert Gasser. I think Angel Martinez, switch hitter there. I think he would be the best play, and I think at 4K, he's a decent one-off. But outside of that, don't love it. On the Brewers side, I think the Brewers definitely have a spot in the slate because they're going to be super low owned against the questionable righty in Slate Sassoni here. I haven't checked the roof. I think the roof might be open here. I haven't called the hotline. Brewers, anytime they're up against a righty, have my interest, especially when they're not getting ownership. That's the case here. Probably not one of the better stacks at their prices combined up against a team like the A's at similar price points. Much prefer that, but ownership's also going to follow that way. So Yelich, Churio, Turang, Bowers, who's been really good. Garrett Mitchell's been great. He's 3,700. I think he's interesting. Cooper Pratt, one of the top prospects in baseball, 2,500. You can now play him, who actually has upside instead of a Joey Ortiz, who is just a dead spot in your lineup. So I think the Brewers might rally around the big major league debut here for Cooper Pratt. I like some Brewers here. Not one of my top stacks by any means, but I play them every single time they're on the slate, especially against a righty. And more times than not, they score me some runs. So what do you see here in this one?
Spoken like a true Wisconsinite over there, that's for sure. But, I mean, you really can't argue the Brewers side of it. I mean, the Brewers are one of the top hitting teams against right-handers in all of baseball so far this year. I believe they're third in OPS. Dodgers and the Pirates, nobody probably would have guessed as the top 2 above them. But, I mean, yeah, they're interesting. Sassoni, whatever his name is, he does have a mid-ground ball lean. We know how I feel about the Brewers when they face a ground ball pitcher, but I'm not overly that worried about Sassoni. He's just not really been that good. So I would say the Brewers are in that category of like maybe the White Sox, like you were saying, in the low owned category with upside. So, we got 20 games tonight. I don't think they're high enough up the list for me to get there on a couple teams on FanDuel. But I definitely think you got to look at it. Now the other side here against Gasser. Gasser's been bad so far this year. It's only been 28 plate appearances, but he's got an 18% walk rate. His ISO is 478 against lefties. His ground ball percentages are low to both sides. His fly balls are up a little bit. He has been getting barely got barreled 10% against righties. But what I'm concerned about is his control so far against lefties. I think that is definitely something. They're only going to see 2 or 3 lefties here today, but Gasser for me, I like I said, he just doesn't have it. But I think Rhys Hoskins and David Fry would be a couple guys that I don't mind as far as one-offs if you want to take a shot. I wouldn't go full stack with the Indians. I just don't like them enough as a team to get there. But I think you could maybe pick off a one-off or two if you think Gasser is going to be owned enough. But maybe, like I said, Hoskins, Fry, maybe that's somewhere I'd be willing to go. I don't love it, but I think it's definitely in play.
Yeah, I would say Hoskins, Rocchio, Hedges. Those 3, if you wanted to do a little 3-man hedge stack in a spot where instead of using a Robert Gasser, you go up to a guy like Palante, and then maybe instead of using the top-end pitching, you use one of those guys in that kind of mid-8K range and just kind of flip the builds, right? And instead of using the $5,500 and the 10K pitcher, you use a $7,800 and an 8K pitcher, something like that, right? Where you kind of middle the salary there, and then you get some leverage there on the cheap. One of the highest owned starting pitchers on the slate, Robert Gasser, for a good reason, right? You look at this Indians team or Guardians team against left-hand pitching. They're horrendous, especially without J-Ram in that lineup. Now that he's going to be on the shelf for a couple weeks, Hoskins, Rocchio, Hedges would be the only guys I'd look at there. Next spot, Padres, Cardinals. This is a game I don't love for offense on either side. Padres bullpen's really good. Cardinals, not great, but Palante, a ground ball guy. Padres offense is very disgusting for DFS. It's not great in real life either. Cardinals have been really, really good. Michael King. The issue I have is just anytime I think Michael King's good enough to keep this game somewhat close that you're going to see the best arms coming out of that bullpen. And the Padres have just absolutely straight nails relievers coming out of that pen. I know I put a ton of stock into this all the time, every time the Padres are on or these better bullpen teams, but on a slate where you have 24 offenses to pick from, I don't really like this game either way on either side. Ballpark sucks. Two solid starting pitchers, a really good bullpen on the Padres side. That's enough to kind of take me off this game, but what do you see?
Yeah, I agree with you. If King's got some walk issues here and there, and the Cardinals overall are a fairly patient team, but I don't love it either way. There's no reason to try to press. Even if I was playing 20-some teams, I probably wouldn't get to either one of these teams. Definitely not the Padres, that's for sure.
I will say Burleson's been one of the better hitters as of late in baseball. He's still 4,200, which is still a reasonable price point for him. So I wouldn't hate him, but outside of that, don't really love it on either side. Takes us to the win game in Wrigley. One of the more popular offense on the slate in the Cubs side of it. It is only 60 degrees, low 60s here in Wrigley, but you do have 12 to 15, 60-mile-an-hour winds at the start of the game, kind of blowing from left to right, but more so out towards that right field line where it is 353, 368, but we know it's the most affected wind stadium in all of baseball. Jake McCarthy's back in this Rockies lineup. I like him. Castro, who's been really good. Rumfield. The lefties, for me, against Cabrera. Cole Carrig has been red hot. He's still 3K flat at outfield. Think he's one of the better plays on the slate. Nobody wants to play him, and he's a value guy with power and speed in a win game. So I like that lefty pull power for the Rockies. And then same thing on the Cubs. PCA, red hot right now. The dude hit for the cycle yesterday. Cubs failed his chalk outside of PCA. I'd like the Cubs a lot more here tonight against Feltner than I do the Rocky side, but I think this is a really good game for offense on both sides. I'm out on the starting pitching in this one. I know people are going to play some Cabrera. I don't like it. I'm rather on the Rockies offense. Cubs, one of the better stacks, in my opinion, on the slate. Lefties on both sides for me are the main targets.
Yeah, just looking at this one here, as far as the Rockies go, I mean, the Rockies, what they were playing out in Oakland, out in Vegas there, and then they get to go back to their home spot. I mean, for me, Cabrera, I mean, he's a ground ball pitcher, doesn't get too many Ks against the left side. He's been at 30% against the right side. I mean, he's been getting barreled up by some lefties, almost 12%. I don't overall like the power I'm getting on the left side. I think I would rather, have Hunter Goodman and them face a lefty. So I'm kind of torn. I think I'd rather play Cabrera, to be honest with you. Now, I think on the Cubs side of it, I think there's a time, you kind of got to take a stand against some of the teams that may be chalk. And, just kind of looking at Feltner, I mean, the left side, his WOBA's only given up a 261 this year to the left side. I mean, let's not forget, Nades, this dude is a Rockies pitcher too. So, their numbers are always kind of ballooned up. So, I mean, for me, yeah, PCA, I mean, he's actually been hitting. I do like Bush on FanDuel. I mean, I always like Bush, but he's really cheap on FanDuel. He's a pretty good value play. I just think with some of the chalk that's on Nades, I think I would just probably bump down the Cubs just a little bit. I kind of get tired of the win game narrative over there in Wrigley Field, to be honest with you. It just seems like it burns me and burns everybody more than it seems to. I wish I kind of had some good data on that every time the over-under is kind of bumped up a run or two throughout the day because of wind. Like, how many times it actually goes over, because I'd be willing to bet it probably don't go over 50% of the time. But I guess, Nate, for me, I'm just going to downgrade the Cubs a little bit just because I guess I respect Feltner a little bit more against some of these lefties. He's going to see a handful of them. I see the reason why people like the Cubs, but I think for me, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not a fan of it per se.
Yeah, at ownership, I much prefer the Rockies side just because Cabrera gives up power. Definitely to the right side, where a lot more to the right, where his strikeouts come up. But anytime balls are going to be in play, there's some wind helping the lefties there. Cole Carrig, like I said, has been really good. Rumfield's been really good against righties. Brett Sullivan is solid against righties as well. McCarthy coming back helps this lineup. Castro's red hot right now. So, yeah, I have a lot more interest. I mean, you look at the Rockies over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. Team ISO of 218. Obviously, a lot of this is inflated, right, because they scored 23 runs in Vegas on Sunday there. But still, I mean, they're seeing the baseball well, and maybe that's all it takes for a team, right? You go play in 105-degree heat against the back half of the A's rotation. Maybe that'll do it for you, but I don't think Cabrera is that great of a pitcher. He just hasn't been great this year. He's got a lot of talent. Hasn't been the case so far in a Cubs uniform. And I'll play a low-owned Rockies stack with full 9 at-bats when nobody else does, and all the ownership's going on the Cubs side. PCA would be my favorite play from the Cubs. But don't sleep on those righties either. Feltner is kind of more reverse splitsy, actually. So Suzuki, Bregman, Horner. I mean, Horner's been terrible, but Carson Kelly. I mean, you got some cheap righties there. Dansby Swanson is always a forgotten piece in that Cubs stack. He can show occasional power at times, and shortstop's overall a pretty weak position typically. So 3,300, not the worst price point there for him. Next spot, Zebby Matthews.
Going back to that Vegas series, you're talking about the Rockies scoring 23 runs there in Vegas. Like, you and I were talking about how we were overweight on them games when they were in Vegas, and then, they didn't pan out that day. And, we caught a little flack a couple times in the chat, but we were totally right. Like, I mean, we were totally right. That stadium's a fucking softball stadium, and, like, we got to be ahead of it. Like, anybody who was on that day literally shipped it easily. Like, I mean, and that's what we're talking about. Like, let's stay ahead of it. Like, obviously that stadium is ridiculous. They shouldn't even be playing games there as far as I'm concerned. But, yeah, I mean, we were right on it. I mean, I don't feel bad about any of those losses that we took, those couple days there afterward that didn't pan out, because we were on the right track. That is for damn sure with that park. That is for sure.
Yeah, that park's a joke, and their actual AAA park that they play now, Sutter Health, is pretty close to it as well. But let's take this one. Globe Life, I'm assuming the roof is closed here. Kumar Rocker, if you wanted to kind of get the whiskey bottle out, the old whiskey bottle play of the day, I think you could dabble with a Kumar Rocker there. He does have some pedigree to be a reasonable major league arm. Has shown definitely up and downs. 6,700. You could definitely play him if you wanted. I don't really like the Twins at all on this slate. Buxton is always in play as a one-off. Cody Clemens. Outside of that, Royce Lewis too, who's red hot. He's 2,900. Those three guys would be really the only guys I'd look at. Rangers more of the same. I don't like Zebby Matthews. I think he's horrendous. I don't love the Rangers though. I just don't like this game much from an offensive perspective in retrospect to the slate. I will call out Brandon Nimmo though and Wyatt Langford, 3,400, 3,300. They're still dirt cheap. The Rangers fit that value stack tier, and you still got that bad Twins bullpen against a guy in Zebby who was lit up in spring training. Hasn't been great in the minors either. How do you see this one? Twins and the Rangers.
I mean, I don't like the full stack of the Rangers, but I think the Rangers are a great opportunity to pluck some guys for some power. I mean, Zebby Matthews, and he's got 150 plate appearances so far this year, and he's got 90 against lefties. So obviously more than the right side. And he's got almost a 42% fly ball percentage, Nades, and a 13.5 barrel percentage against the lefties. So, Jock Peterson could run into one. I think Nemo, as you mentioned, is an interesting play. So I think those guys there are definitely in play for me. I just don't love the whole full stack. But Rocker, too, he's another one that kind of gets hit a little harder against the left side. You mentioned Buxton. I mean, that guy's just been tearing the cover off the ball. I don't like too many other, maybe Clemens, like you said, but I do think the Rangers are definitely in play for even like a mini stack. Even I think they got some power there. I mean, Matthews with that high fly ball percentage and him getting barreled up like that, Nades, I think he got some lefties with some big power, especially Jock Peterson. We know Ham would be excited about that, but I think Nemo and Peterson definitely are in play for me.
Yeah, Nimmo and Langford are two fly ball guys. So I think that's a really good mini stack. What is it? 6,800 between the two of them. 6,700 between the two of them, which is basically Nick Kurt's price. And I mean, can two guys get 30 points like Nick Kurtz can? I don't think it's I don't think it's crazy there. So it does suck. You have to take out two outfield spots, but you do get three of them obviously in your lineup. So I do like that. There, it's more minis, if anything, in that game for me. Astros, Tigers, Framber on the mound, Hunter Brown on the mound, too. Definitely Hunter Brown going to be one of the more popular pitchers on the slate coming back from injury. McGonigal's red hot right now, so if you wanted to do the leverage word and throw in a McGonigal, I think you could. Dylan Dingler's been really good, but 5K, super expensive. Colt Keith coming off 3 home runs. He's still 2,700. Pretty big pinch hit concern there. Don't love the matchup there, but third base is a horrible position. 2,700, a guy who's got power. Don't think it's the worst play. We know that Astros bullpen's not good behind Hunter Brown. So if he is limited to that 80 to 85 pitch count and they do run up some pitches and get him out of there in 4 innings, you still have the majority of the game against that bullpen. So you can make the case, but not one of the better spots on the slate for offense. On either side, McGonigal, I do think, is a really good one-off, just like Yordan Alvarez, even lefty-lefty. He's one of the best hitters, lefty-lefty in baseball. He is the best hitter this year in all of baseball. So talk to me in this one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Yordan's a pretty good guy to obviously go against his old buddy there. I don't know if they're buddies, but definitely teammates. But I mean, as far as the Tigers go, I'll play McGonigal any damn day. That dude is something else. Carpenter's a pinch hit risk. I mean, why they pinch hit Carpenter for freaking Jamani Jones is beyond me. They'll do it in like the 4th inning, and then they'll have a couple more at bats against righties. It just baffles me. I just don't even understand it. But Kisa, definitely, Perez, McKinstry, Altman, all these guys at the bottom of this lineup, these lefties are definitely pinch hit risk, Nate. So don't like any of that. But Yordan, I mean, I think Yordan would probably hit a bomb off it. But I could see him hitting one off him, Framber, today.
Yeah, no, not a great game for offense. Couple one-offs, McGonigal and Yordan headlining those two games. Let's go to the night window here. 9:40 start time. D-backs, Angels, Detmers. We talked about him as a low-owned upside pitcher on the slate. D-backs do rake against left-handed pitching, though. I do think Detmers is above an average kind of arm. Obviously, his strikeouts are hovering right around that 30% mark to both sides of the plate. D-backs have been scuffling as of late. I will say, though, anytime Marte's facing a lefty, he's got to be one of the better plays in the slate. Corbin Carroll, another lefty hitter. Moreno hits lefties really well. Arenado, Lourdes Gurriel hits lefties really well. Then I would say Jordan Lawler at 2,800. He's been good. I don't love the D-backs here. I can definitely see upside, and they got a bad bullpen behind. I'm assuming the roof is closed in Arizona. I'd be shocked if it's not. But talk to me in this one, Angels and the D-backs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be loving to attack Merrill Kelly. I know I said I kind of was interested in him, and the reason being is, I mean, he's decent against righties. He just sucks balls against lefties. I mean, his WOBA's 402 against lefties, 18.5% barrel rate, fly ball percentage, 35%. But I mean, we're looking at what? Wade Meckler and Nolan Schunnell. I mean, that's my choices. Donovan Walton maybe at the bottom. I mean, come on, man. You know, maybe I could go with some Wade Meckler, but yeah, I mean, I'm not interested in anybody. Maybe Meckler, like I said, one-off. Arizona bats against Detmers. I don't know. I'm not really all enamored with that. I mean, Arenado's always kind of hit lefties pretty well. So, I mean, if you wanted to look at somebody like that, but I'm all set on the offenses here. There's other spots here that we could get and attack here tonight. I'm not a fan of any of these stacks.
Yeah, I will say the D-backs are going to be low owned on the slate. So if you wanted to, and you do have the bad Angels bullpen behind. So Marte, Troy, Carroll, Moreno, Arenado have been the best hitters against left-handed pitching over the last month. And this team has an 11% strikeout rate against left-handed pitching over the last month. So David meets Goliath here. Detmer's been really, really good all season long, 30% K rate against the team who doesn't strike out. We'll see what happens. That's probably enough to just take me off of probably both sides, the hitters and Detmers. But I don't know. I think Arizona still does have a place on the slate, especially some of these cheaper guys like an Arenado, like a Lawler, like a Tommy Troy, some value guys there overall. Takes us out to Seattle. Logan Gilbert, Brandon Young. Brandon Young's kind of smoking mirrors. His underlying metrics do not equal out to what is kind of surface level numbers suggest. If you wanted to play him at 7,300 in this ballpark, I don't think it's the craziest play. But Cal Raleigh coming back does hurt that. I personally am not playing Brandon Young. I'd rather just spend down or spend up $500 to play a guy like Palante there. Logan Gilbert, one of the better plays on the slate. It's my favorite starting pitcher. If you wanted to pick off a home run or try to home run hunt, even in this ballpark, Adley, Basayo, Gunner, something like that. But I hate this game for offense. I hate this ballpark. 12 games on the slate. When we have a win game in Wrigley, we have the A Stadium, we have Great American Small Park. I don't see a reason to play this game on a 12-game slate. But what do you see here in this one?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Young, you can't attack on the left side. His K percentage is really low, 13%. Ground ball rate is pretty low. He's been getting barreled up at 9%. And I mean, he hasn't really been all that great keeping the ball over the plate either. So, I mean, the lefties here, Seattle, I mean, I would mini stack the Mariners here. Young, as you mentioned, Naylor, Rayleigh, getting Kyle Riley back. I mean, they got a bunch of lefties here. So, I mean, just kind of looking, I put them in the same group as I put the Brewers, to be honest with you. I think they got some upside. They got a pitcher across from them that isn't that great against the handedness that they're going to be able to roll out the most hitters with. So, yeah, I mean, I think Seattle's in play. I like them a little bit more than you do. On the other side, I'm not fooling with Logan Gilbert and any of these Oriole bats. But, yeah, I mean, I don't love it, but I put Seattle way down my list. I probably wouldn't even get there if I, 2010. I don't even know if I'd get there.
Yeah, I'd much rather play the White Sox. I'd much rather play the Brewers. I'd much rather play the Rockies. I mean, there's just a lot more teams. I'd much rather probably even play the D-backs. I hate this ballpark 12-game slate. It's not for me, but I get the reasoning there. It's more just enough to take me off of Brandon Young, who I think people look at that and might click his name just because they click the game logs, see he's been surface level, pretty solid, but yeah, not for me. Takes us to the premier game of the slate. We're in Sutter Health. We're not in Vegas, but this park is still going to play really, really good. Wind blowing out here tonight as well, which does help the case. It's going to be right around 90 or mid 80s, upper 80s, 14 mile an hour winds. I'm seeing pretty much the entire duration of this game going to play really, really hitter friendly in this one. You got Mitch Keller back in our lives, who is not great by any means. The A's are super expensive, went absolutely bonkers last night on the back of Nick Kurtz. Think he's one of the best plays again on the slate. The A's still, it's shocking to me that the A's are going to be much lower owned than teams like the Mets, the Cubs. And, I mean, they're facing Mitch Keller with the wind blowing out in Sutter Health. I mean, I love this game on both sides for offense. Again, I just play these ballparks. Pirates aren't even getting that much ownership, obviously, because it's a 12-game slate and there is enough good spots to pull from each other. The Mets are just kind of the guy because of the spot they're in and their salaries. The Pirates you want to play, Brandon Lau, Reynolds, O'Hearn, those guys are expensive. But we have cheap pitching on the slate and pitching grows. So I'm prioritizing offense. I love this game on both sides. A's probably my favorite stack on the slate, if not one of them. I love the A side. Pirates are pretty good as well. I do worry about some of the pinch hit risk there from the Pirates, and I just don't think this offense overall is that great, even though, like you said, they're top 5 or top 3 in OPS against right-handed pitching, and they get a pretty bad one here in Jack Perkins. Talk to me in this one. Looks like best game by far on the slate, and it's really not even that close.
I agree with you. I mean, I like both sides. I think both sides are in great spots. I got them ranked both in my top 2 stacks. I mean, the A's, yeah, I mean, Kurtz, I mean, this dude's all world. I'm going to start having to dig through some of the boxes of shit I got, see how many Nick Kurtz rookie cards I got, because I damn well sure I got a handful of them, Nades. But either way, I mean, they're in play. Keller's just not been very good here lately. I mean, not at all. I mean, he's kind of like almost like average, but he does get beat up a little bit more by the left side. He has some walk issues to the right side, almost 11%, which is alarming. But you know, Kurtz up top of that lineup, Soderstrom's, I think, of Cortez, Butler. I mean, that's a pinch hit risk, but yeah, I mean, the A's definitely are up top. Kurtz is just off 465 WOBA against righties so far this year. That's crazy. That's like soft. That's kind of numbers I put up on the softball field, I think, Nades. But either way, Pittsburgh, I really like Pittsburgh more than everybody else. As I said, they're top 2 in OPS of all of baseball against righties. It's like a quiet little spot here where you got a pitcher that's just not very good. He's kind of reverse splitsy, actually. He's got 32% strikeout rate to the left side. I mean, it's 79 plate appearances to 85 too. So he's way better so far this year against the left side. His WOBA's up at 380 to the right side. He has been getting a little bit more ground balls to the left side, not an overwhelmingly number that I'd be worried about, but the right side is where he's been getting barreled up a little bit more. But I just think that's just, I mean, time's going to catch up with this guy. So for me, I think Pittsburgh's definitely in play. I like it. I think this game stack's definitely in play if you wanted to go that route. I mean, I'd stack up, maybe play a couple lineups, stack up 5 Pirates, and then another lineup, stack up 5 A's. Maybe throw in some the other side on either side and maybe a one-off or 2. I think, as you mentioned, pitching's pretty cheap today. I don't feel like you're going to get blown up at pitcher, so I don't mind paying down at pitching tonight, paying up for some of these offenses. In these later window games that we've been seeing here, I mean, last night everybody thought, oh, man, I'm kicking some ass. And then guess what? Nick Kurtz woke up, and then you weren't at the top of the leaderboards anymore. So, you know, when I fell asleep last night, there was one guy, and I was in the tournament last night, Nate, and it was a satellite for the $3,300 first week in the NFL. And there was a guy, he was like 30 points ahead. I ain't bullshit. I was like, damn, this guy's crushing. And I looked this morning, he lost. So I was like, man, that'd have been so tilting if that was me. But yeah, I think this great game here has definitely got lots of goodness in it here tonight. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, I love this game. I will say there is pinch hit risk for the Pirates side. Hogan Harris obviously is their closer, but Jose Suarez also throws from the left side from the Sacramento A's, right, where he hasn't pitched in, 2 days, 3 days. He's right around 20. So I would assume he kind of comes in. He looked really good over the weekend. I mean, he's not a great pitcher by any means, but he still throws from the left side. So guys like Mangum, Andy Rodriguez, Callahan, there's definitely pitch hit risk. Horwitz even a little bit. Those kind of 4 guys are the main guys there that you could see some pinch hit risk. Obviously, not all of them can be pinch hit for, but I would, when I'm building teams, be worried on how many of the pinch hit guys I do stack in a lineup together, because there's probably a pretty high likelihood that you don't see more than 2 at-bats, especially with a guy like Jack Perkins, who probably doesn't go that long. Next spot on the slate, last spot, is the Dodgers and the Rays. Drew Rasmussen, good arm, tough matchup. Robleski, solid pitcher. Not the best. I mean, if you wanted to play Caminero, Yandy Diaz, Velati, who hit a bomb last night as well, those 3 guys are in play anytime they face a lefty. They're going to be unowned here tonight as well. The Dodger side also going to be unowned. Don't love picking on Drew Rasmussen, but low-owned Dodgers on a slate where wouldn't be shocked to see them go nuts anytime they're on the slate. I don't love it, though, picking on Rasmussen. He's just been good enough. That Rays bullpen, not crazy, kind of middle of the road, but if the game's fairly close with both of these starters, you're going to see the best arms coming out there. So I much prefer the last game. I much prefer a lot of other spots on the slate, even with the low ownership in the Dodgers. I don't love it. Ohtani, sure, you can always play him. Freeman, I mean, it's a very, very good lineup, obviously, on paper. Ryan Ward is still cheap with a ton of power there. He's kind of a home run or nothing there, but if he gets a hold of the ball, it can go a long ways. I just don't like picking on Drew Rasmussen on a 12-game slate. What do you see here, though, to close us out?
Yeah, I got to agree with picking on Rasmussen. I mean, as a baseball fan, that's the kind of game that I'd like to sit down and watch if it wasn't at 10:10 being on the Eastern time zone, because Rasmussen's been really good in his last couple starts out. I mean, 18 innings. He's only given up 7 hits, Nades. He's got like 26 or 27 strikeouts in those his last couple games. So, I mean, the dude's been really good. Now he's going to run into literally one of the best lineup in baseball. So I think it'd be interesting. You know, I'm not going to pick on Rasmussen. I can't do it. I mean, if I was playing a bunch of teams, you should always probably have some Dodger teams just because how good they've always been, but I'm not picking on him there. And Wroblewski, I mean, they got a pretty good bullpen behind him, so I'm just not interested in any of these Tampa bats against Wroblewski. I mean, maybe if you want to go Junior Caminero, if you wanted to go something like that, he's pretty good. Yandy Diaz maybe against that lefty there, but I think there's other spots we could attack. I'm not a fan of either side really this game, but like I said, Dodgers is that team, man. This year, you should, if you got a big portfolio of teams, even 20, I'd probably still have a Dodger stack.
Yeah, Dodgers fit the script of stack them up anytime they're on a slate, especially against a righty there, just because they're have the potential on anytime they're on the slate, right, to be the highest scoring offense with that lineup they have that they roll out any single night. I mean, they are still implied right around 5 runs against Drew Rasmussen, as good as he has been. That just tells you everything you need to know there with how good, obviously, that offense is on paper. Gyiraszin, your top 3 stacks, your top 3 pitchers, and then home run call for the people.
All right, top 3 stacks. I'm going to go leaving that game Pittsburgh. And the A's are up there 1-2. I'll go Reds 2, or Reds up there in the top 3. And, I'm leaving out the Mets. I'll let everybody else play that one, as I mentioned earlier. As far as pitching goes, I think Hunter Brown's in a really good spot. As I said, I think Davis Martin is the definition of a tournament play. I really like him. And then I'd have to say Logan Gilbert is definitely a safe play. As far as a home run call goes here tonight, I think for me, I got a couple guys that I was looking at, but I'm going to go to the Reds. And against Singa, I'm going to go with J.J. Bleday. I think J.J. Bleday hits a bomb tonight.
Yeah, great one there. For me, pitching, Logan Gilbert, Robert Gasser, Davis Martin are kind of the 3 main guys I'm looking at there. In terms of stacks, I have the A's number 1. I have the Reds number 2. I like the Rockies a lot too, especially those lefties against Cabrera, who I do think picks up a decent amount of ownership there. So I definitely like the Rockies a lot more than you. Feels gross to say that, but they've maybe they gotten shit going after playing there, and they faced a lefty yesterday, so you didn't obviously see that. And Imanaga still didn't have really a great game by any means either there. So give me some of those Rockies, especially those lefties. And for my home run call, I'm going right back to the Rockies. I'm going to the guy hitting 6th, Cole Carrig, 3K flat outfield. Dude's been red hot right now. Power speed combination. He's going to be 1% owned on a 12-game slate with that kind of upside at 3K. I'll take my chances. Give me Cole Carrig. Hits another one here tonight for us. Gyiraszin, appreciate you tuning in and jumping on talking baseball here. Massive slate, 12 games on the docket. Definitely a couple cross-off spots. Pitching's pretty weak. Hitting's really good. I'm definitely bats first over pitching first in my lineups there. I think we broke it down really well. I'll get the cores up. Slate Station is already live as it is all throughout the day. If you're not a member yet, SHIP19 is the code. You see it there on the screen. Otherwise, shipitnation.com. Click join now. You'll see all of our packages for all sports. U.S. Open this week. Tambo and the crew will have you covered there. Get in 5 days, cover you all the way through the U.S. Open, showdowns, main slate, MLB the rest of the week as well. We got you covered here. For Gyiraszin, I'm Nades. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. We're out of here. Peace.